Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I am here to share with you a book tag. Today I am going to be doing the Who Do You Love book tag. And this tag was originally created by Summer over at Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats. So I will link her channel down below. She didn't specifically tag me to do this, but she did tell me about it. So I consider that a tag, right? Is that a tag? Okay. So yeah, there are 15 questions. Let's get started. So the first question is, what book did everyone love but you only liked? And for that, I'm going to say The Silent Patient by, what was his name? Alex Michaelides, whatever it was. This was a very popular thriller like a year ago, 2 years ago, I don't even remember. And everybody was just crazy about this book and loved this book and gushed about this book. And then I read it and I was kind of like, meh, it was okay. Question 2, who is your favorite author? That's hard to say, but I'm gonna today say Stephen King. Question 3, what subject do you love to read about? For me, I love reading about coming of age stories. I don't know, there's just something about them that I gravitate towards. I also, in terms of like horror, I really like paranormal stuff where you're talking about like a haunting of some kind or a possession. Those are the things I really like. Question 4, what book are you not sure that you love? And for this one, I'm going to say, let me see if I can find it. I have like a pile of books around me right now. For this, I'm going to say The Terror by Dan Simmons. And I'm going to say that because I haven't finished this book. I started it in January and I made it 250 pages in and decided to put it down for now because I was enjoying the story, but it was very slow and I was feeling bogged down. I was afraid it was going to put me in a reading slump. But it is one that I want to return to, and I feel like if I complete it, once I complete it, I think I am really going to enjoy it, really love it. But it's just kind of daunting at the moment. Question 5 is, what book has a cover that you love? And you know I couldn't pick just one for this. The first one that comes to mind is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I love this cover because it looks like an 80s VHS tape, which is really fun, and so I love it. Another one is a recent read, and that is All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. This is a memoir, and I just love the colors here. I love the like midsummer type crown that he's wearing, and just the way that it's kind of painted. I just love this. I just love it. And then the other one I wanted to mention is Pan's Labyrinth. This is a novelization of the film by Guillermo del Toro and Cornelia Funk. I think that's how you say her last name. It might be Funk or Funky, I'm not sure. She does illustrations in this one, but this cover, it's such a cool story, and I just feel like this cover just totally goes with it, and it's very shiny and very pretty. Question 6 is, what book stayed with you the longest? And for this one, I'm going to say The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. This book just has a character in here. The main character, Cyril, is just one of those characters that I still think about, and I read this book over a year ago, and I still think about him and his story, and I just loved it so much, and I loved him as a character. And so definitely everything he went through in this story, I still think about it. I still love it. Question 7 is, what book do you love that you could recommend to anyone? And for this one, I'm going to say The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't have my copy right now because I lent it to my sister-in-law, and she's reading it right now, and she's really enjoying it. So I think that one is a crowd pleaser in terms of books because it kind of has a lot of things going on in it. There's there's a historical fiction aspect, there's a romance aspect, there's even like a little bit of kind of like a mystery aspect because this reporter that was called in to do this tell-all with Evelyn Hugo, this famous movie star, she doesn't really know why she was tapped to do this, and so you kind of want to find that out. And it's just a very compulsive read, and yeah, I recommend it to like everybody. Question 8 is, what book lit your fire? This is kind of a weird answer, but I'm going to say Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. And the reason I'm going to say that is because when I read this book, I suddenly went on an Anne Rice binge, and I just read the Vampire Chronicles, I read the Mayfair Witches trilogy, and I almost burned myself out on Anne Rice because I just wanted to read all the Anne Rice. There's still a lot of her work I haven't read, and I don't know if I would love this as much now. I'm not sure because I have never reread the Vampire Chronicles or the Mayfair Witches trilogy, but this book just sent me on a journey because I absolutely loved it, and I loved the writing, and just everything about it was just my jam. So yeah, this one for sure. Question 9 is, what was your favorite book as a teen? Well, I was a little bit angsty. I was a little bit into writing sappy poetry, and you know, I was kind of gloomy sometimes. I felt I was misunderstood and all this. So this author she just got me, and that is Sylvia Plath and the Bell Jar. I loved this book in high school. I think I read it twice in high school, I want to say. And then I actually, a couple years ago, I reread it, and surprisingly, I still loved it just as much. I absolutely love her writing. It's so raw. And like I said, I just connected with it on so many levels when I was a teenager. It was my jam. Question 10 is, what book gives you the most comfort? For that, I'm going to say Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. There's just something about this story that just makes me feel cozy and comforted and happy. Even though there is heartache in this story, there is sadness in this story. Just the bond between these sisters and their mother, and just everything that they go through. I just love it. It just makes me feel cozy and happy. Question 11 is, what is your all-time favorite book? And that's kind of hard because that changes every day. But today I'm going to give you 2 answers because I can't give you just one. The first one is The Stand by Stephen King. This is, as of right now, I haven't read all of his works, but this one is still probably my favorite. Again, it changes. Today it's my favorite. I just remember sitting and just being obsessed with this book. I couldn't put this book down. It just rocked my world. Love it so much. And then the other one is a classic, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I've read this one a couple of times, and there's just something about it. The writing, the characters are so memorable. The setting and everything, the time period, the themes it explores, everything. This is just a fantastic book. Question number 12 is, what book did you love that someone recommended but you wouldn't have picked up on your own? Totally picked this one up because of BookTube. This was before I had my own channel, but I watched BookTube and people were talking about this book, and I otherwise would have shied away from it because of the subject matter. But I read it and I absolutely loved it, and that is The Martian by Andy Weir. This is like a kind of, you know, like a sci-fi book. You know, it's not hard sci-fi, but just, you know, the subject matter, I was probably not really interested, but I picked it up anyway, and I absolutely loved it. It was so good, so intense, so funny. Love this one. Question 13 is, what book did you used to love but you don't love now? And I sat and thought about this one, and I can't honestly think of an answer, because all of the books that I love and say I love, I still love. I even kind of went through my shelves and kind of thought about, oh, what books did I really, you know, jive with even as a kid and stuff, and I think I still love those books. I haven't come across a book yet that I loved and then no longer feel that way. So yeah, I don't really have an answer for this one. Question 14 is, what book do you still need to read that you think you'll love? And I was going to pick one of my 5-star predictions for this one, but I wanted to do something different. So yeah. So for this one, I'm going to say Blackwater by Michael McDowell. I have loved all the Michael McDowell books I've read, and I just love his writing. I just love everything about his stories. And this one also, I think, is just going to be a really good read. It's a biggin', so I don't know when I'm going to tackle it, but I'm super stoked to, because like I said, his work just, I love it. And question 15 is list all the books you love, but you didn't want to be like me and list more than one book per question. Well, Summer, I listed more books. I listed more than one book for some of the questions, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to have a stack here that of books I love that I didn't mention that I now want to mention. And they are very random. And yeah, I'm not going to go into detail. I'm just going to show them to you kind of like rapid fire because I love all of these for various reasons. The first one is Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. Animal Farm by George Orwell. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. Oh, this is a big one. Ugh, you know I had to talk about It by Stephen King. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. The Elementals by Michael McDowell. Nosferatu by Joe Hill. And Summer of Night by Dan Simmons. Alright guys, so those are my answers to the Who Do You Love book tag. Please let me know what you would answer, you know, some of these questions. I would love to know. And if you want to do this tag, consider yourself tagged. It's a fun one. It was fun gathering all the books and thinking about, you know, the things that I love. So thank you to Summer for creating this tag. And yeah, that's all I have for today, guys. So I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for watching.